Hello, it's Dr. Gueye-Weinstein here to talk about menstrual cups. All right, this is a very common question that I get all the time. Patients want to know, are menstrual cups a good idea? Should they use it? Can they use it safely? Does it affect vaginal health in any way? I'm going to give you the lowdown on menstrual cups today. So for those of you who don't know what a menstrual cup is, I'm sure there aren't many of you out there because this is definitely has become a big fad. It is basically a device that looks literally like a small cup that you would insert into the vagina, and it collects your menstrual period, and then you remove it and then do it all over again. Basically, it's supposed to be easier to use, better for your vagina, better for the environment, basically, are the claims of the companies that sell these menstrual cups. So what do I think about it and how it relates to vaginal health? There's a couple of things to consider when answering this question. So I'm not going to say that I don't recommend menstrual cups, but if you're going to use it, I recommend using it with the caveats that I'm going to go over right now. The first thing to think about is that one claim that often is made by these companies is that the menstrual cup does not have the same risk for something called toxic shock syndrome, which we find with tampons. Toxic shock is just basically when a specific bacteria called Staphylococcus aureus finds its way on this foreign object like the tampon, grows into the vagina, and then causes basically this widespread infection in the woman's body, and can be life-threatening. It is a pretty scary event, and this, we know, has been associated with tampons, and you'll see this warning when you buy tampons. The thought was, here I can put this in there and this menstrual cup, and I don't have risk for toxic shock syndrome. That is actually not correct. In fact, there was a study done in 2018 by the American Society for Microbiology that showed the same amount of Staph aureus can find its way and grow on a menstrual cup than does on a tampon. And so the same precautions need to be taken when you're using a menstrual cup. What does that mean? That you can't leave a menstrual cup in for extended periods of time longer than you need to. So that is definitely something that you should think about, and it definitely makes any OBGYN pause. There have been case reports of toxic shock syndrome with menstrual cups. So if you're going to use it, make sure that you're changing it, which people say, well, but then that's not why I use the menstrual cup. But I would say change it at least once during the day so that you're not increasing your risk for toxic shock syndrome. The other thing is that whenever you have certain foreign objects, is you can always have something called a biofilm start to grow on them. That's just a fancy word for bacteria growing on this device. So make sure you avoid rubber menstrual cups. Those tend to have a much worse biofilm. Try to stick with silicone if needed, but even silicone with repeated use can have biofilm buildup in certain nooks and crannies. So you need to clean your menstrual cup. If it's a reusable silicone menstrual cup, make sure you're very, very diligent about cleaning it. Manufacturers say that you can keep it for up to a year. I wouldn't recommend that. I would say discard your cup and get a new one after about 4 months. Again, we want to reduce biofilm and then reduce any chances of Staph aureus kind of starting to colonize and grow on your menstrual cup. Finally, the things that I want you to think about before you decide that a menstrual cup is for you. It is a device that you have to insert and remove, and that takes a little bit of learning. So make sure you're comfortable putting something in your vagina and taking it out. But if you can consider those things and follow those guidelines, then maybe a menstrual cup is for you. That's what I think about menstrual cups. If you have any questions, any comments, or you want me to review another product, just put your comments below and I will be happy to do so.